This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is David Lenigas, the chairman of Vinanz PLC. Thank you as always for your time. David, how are you? How's your summer been?
Yeah, no, good. In America, they call it Vinanz.
Oh, Vinanz. Okay, right. Okay, yeah.
And that's where we're really sort of pushing this whole story now. I mean, the UK is great for us. It's where our regulatory environment is. We've had some reasonable success here in liquidity and volume, and hopefully that will continue. But our real push is into America and Canada, but more so the marketing of our stock in America. So There hasn't been much of a holiday because our volume's starting to increase in America. And it takes a fair bit of work.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'll see if I can remember to call it Vinanz. I did notice there was, of course, the analyst note projecting a profit this year, giving a market cap of $120 million a share price. So I think $3.
No. They were giving a share price prediction at $3 a share, and there's 160 million shares. So work that out. It's a lot more than 120 million market cap. That's where they see our target price.
Right, yeah, but the $3 per share, that was definitely what I noticed from that note there. And you say you've seen volume pick up from the US trading?
Well, we have. I mean, if you pull up the US graph, which is VINZF on the US OTC QB, we've seen a really dramatic improvement in trading liquidity and price in the US. I mean, yesterday we actually sort of closed at 21.1 cents US. And, I think we're getting sort of 8-10 trades, sometimes up as high as circa 20 trades, which is the equivalent of 16.5 pence UK. So, we're really starting to see some interest and some eyeballs on the stock there. Maybe a lot of that is because we keep showing that we're growing in US states. We're now in Iowa, Indiana, Nebraska. We announced last week that we've just launched some miners into Texas. And Texas is one of the 4 Bitcoin-friendly sort of jurisdictions of America. So there's been a lot of effort from the company in getting Vinanz, as the Americans call it, eyeballs on the stock and getting things sort of moving there.
Okay, that's good. And of course, throughout the month of August and towards the end of July, I did notice a flurry of news there coming. And as you've mentioned, they're expanding in Canada, expanding in Nebraska, increasing by 50%. Iowa, you've increased to 80 miners. Then, of course, your recent expansion into Texas. You've said the US is really the focus. How are you sitting at the minute, if you were to sort of give us a snapshot of the United States, where it is now and where you want to take it to?
Well, look, the real places that are Bitcoin friendly, where all the Bitcoin billionaires sit now, is Texas, Florida, Silicon Valley, and for some reason, Nashville in Tennessee. So, we're going to be looking at expanding our operations in those states because, that's where the home of the crypto dudes is. And obviously Canada is very important for us because it's our biggest operation and it's our lowest energy prices at the moment. Mm-hmm. But as we grow into the US markets, our energy prices will drop across the portfolio. So, at the moment, we started this whole venture a year and a bit ago with a couple of miners in Nebraska. Now we're sort of sitting at circa, I don't know, probably close to 600 miners and improving on a month by month basis. In Canada and 4 US states. So, I'd like to see, crystal ball it out another year. I'd like to see us in at least half the American states.
At least half?
Absolutely. And there's no reason why we can't. I mean, we've got a linearly expandable model. So, we've got no debt. The miners hash to our wallet. We've got great overclocking services through Luxor, and we can weather a lot of storms. It's a pretty competitive sector out there, and we're keeping our costs down and our debt to zero, and grow as we can.
Well, that's extremely ambitious, David. At least half the states in the United States there throughout the course of next year. I mean, at the moment, where are you looking at in terms of sort of hash rate, bitcoins per day, that kind of thing?
Well, look, Bitcoin per day sort of suffered for everybody since the halving. We're back to where we were from a Bitcoin generation perspective back then in April. Our operating costs are around about $40,000 a coin, I reckon, at the moment. Okay. A lot of sort of power related, but we need to see it all balance out because we've just increased the fleet in Canada by a fair amount. So it's not one of those things that you could definitively put your finger on and go, that's what it is today. It takes a bit of through the system to understand what the metrics are. But we're pretty happy with the way it's going. As long as we keep our costs down and get ready for a big Bitcoin boom, then that's our focus.
Okay, good. And if I try to remember what it was, a Bitcoin it was every few days, wasn't it, going back?
No, it was about 10 or 12 days at the time before the halving, and I think we're sort of back there now.
Right, okay. Good to know.
I haven't calculated it.
Okay.
But it's keeping modern fleet running at the lowest price and staying debt-free.
Okay, and the idea is to just get more and more miners going as quickly as you can, really. Yeah,
and the balancing act is to do that without going into debt or without leveraging the company.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
If I had more money, I'd expand even quicker. But at the moment, we're just sort of expanding in a very prudent fashion. And the other thing too is we want to sort of assess which states and which hosting providers suit us. I don't want to own data centers. I just want to have great relationships with multiple hosting people, with multiple data centers in multiple states. And that gives us the flexibility to turn on, turn off, shift our miners from one state to another and just own the miners.
Okay. That's a good vision to have. I wonder if you have a more specific target that you're going for, whether it's number of miners spinning, hash rate, Bitcoin production rate.
My target, so it's Jeremy Edelman's, who's also my board member, is we want to see Vinanz at $1 billion plus company and listed ultimately on NASDAQ. And our whole plan is, can we look at a strategic scenario that gets us to NASDAQ, sometime next year as an uplift.
Really? So you're looking at that as soon as next year?
Well, we'd like to. I mean, the quicker we grow, the quicker we can look at getting there.
And would you need to be at $1 billion market cap before you can do that, or?
No. But I mean, if you say, what do you want? You ask me a question. How many miners do you want? How many Bitcoin do you want? No. My objective here is to have us with a market cap of $1 billion US. Okay. That's the objective. And that's the first stage objective from a medium to long-term growth. Our model is expandable in quite a linear sense. So the bigger we go, the more institutional support we have, the more flexibility we have. Our model is, as I said, linearly expandable. And if Bitcoin runs to 100, 150, 200, some people are calling 500, a million, Van Eck CEO was saying, last week or the week before that they've got models that says that, sometime in the next cycle, you could actually see Bitcoin top out at $2.9 million US. Now, I'm in the $1 million club. I'd love to see Bitcoin at $2.9 million US. But it's going to take a while to get there.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Well, that's a nice vision to have, a nice objective to have, $1 billion company. If we're to make that objective smart, are you putting a time on it?
A lot of time. Yeah, I mean, it's holiday season, but, holidays have been quite limited for me, wife and daughters, because it's school holidays for children. So wife's been doing more of the holiday stuff. But no, it's all about pedal to the metal with Vinanz.
Okay, good. And just finally, David, I wonder if we can just talk about some of the variables that perhaps might affect the sentiment in Bitcoin, also the profitability of the company. So energy prices is one. I know in Canada, you've definitely got that sort of locked in at a very good rate there. How are you looking at that across the rest of the states here, but also as well, politics? What's going on? What do you think the elections are going to have an effect on? Trump was very bullish on Bitcoin.
Look, let's address the variables. Power cost is one of the biggest. And right now our power ranges from 5.5 US cents up to about sort of 7.5 cents or 7.9 cents, I think. And in those states where it's expensive, the more units we put in, the lower the price will come for us, from our global fleet with that hoster in that state. So as we expand, our power prices will drop across the board. I think the other variable is Bitcoin price. And that's really going to be, the politics in America is just astounding. I mean, Trump has come out categorically and said, we are Bitcoin friendly as the Republicans. The first thing he wants to do when he comes to office, day one, is sack the head of the SEC, who's been a handbrake on a lot of the crypto stuff, particularly Bitcoin. You're now seeing China looking at sort of reopening back into Bitcoin, Russia. There's a whole lot of dynamics about Bitcoin. The Democrats, not so vocal with respect to Bitcoin and what their strategy is, but if Trump gets in, Bitcoin price, in my view, will be supercharged. If the Democrats get in, then Bitcoin price will still continue on its merry way to unfathomed numbers. When you're talking US national debt now at $34 trillion and rising by the millisecond, British debt, the world's going into debt beyond belief, and there's a very, very strong move now towards alternative currencies. And with the ETFs being approved in America and Australia and Hong Kong and various other countries around the world now with respect to spot Bitcoin, I just see a rosy future. As I say, I'm in the Bitcoin $1 billion club.
$1 billion or $1 million?
$1 million.
$1 million. Yeah,
I'm thinking of the valuation of Vinanz, but I'm in the Bitcoin $1 million club. Whether it's this cycle or next cycle, I can see it happening.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time as always, David Lenigas, the chairman of Vinanz PLC.
Great, thanks, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.